Welcome, dear Thriver to Thriver TV. How are you doing in the week leading up to Christmas? It's pretty crazy for a lot of you, and I'm hearing that, and it has been for me too. And this is why I wanted to do the video today, overcoming overwhelm and burnout, because a lot of us are going through it. And understandably, at holiday time and around Christmas, it can be a really big thing, but it could be happening at any time. I actually think at the moment that it is happening at any time, and I'm going to get into that in this video because these are the times when it is happening. All right, so before I get started, I just want to remind you, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do hit the notification bell, and also to share my videos with anybody who really needs to know that it's not just about surviving narcissistic abuse. You can truly heal and thrive after narcissistic abuse. All right, so today's topic is really dear to my heart, and you might have seen this week that I wrote about, it was quite a conversation on my blog article, and it was really about what I'm going to unpack it a little bit in a different way today. And it was about what we're really facing at the moment and what so many of us are going through and the triggering that's happening. And I actually have a cold at the moment because of overwhelm and burnout, taking on too much, but also too having some battles and some struggles around me and some old programs that have really come up to be healed. And this is a time of it. I've been having the 3D, 5D Ascension conversation with a lot of you, and have a look at the link with this video because I'm doing an event on the 23rd of December, which is going to be a quantum freedom healing shift from 3D stuckedness to 5D expansion. It's going to be beyond powerful, it's global, it's going to be so good for all of us, and I cannot wait to serve you in that way. Now, if you haven't already got your special invitation code, I'm also going to put a link up with our holiday specials of my Quantum Freedom Healing programs, which are discounted in a way that we have never done before, as our gift to you this Christmas, because a lot of people are struggling. But you also then have to just write into support@melanietoniaevans.com and you receive your New Year 5D Ascension special invitation code for that event. Okay, and I don't want you to miss it. Alrighty, so today we're talking about overwhelm and burnout. Now, this is what I really believe starts overwhelm and burnout. I want you to imagine that you're going down a river and there's more to navigate and the stream is getting faster, and rather than accepting the ride, we start going into resistance. We want to hang on. We want to stop it. We don't want to face what's happening and what's coming, and understandably. And as soon as we go into resistance, which is, I'm annoyed with this, I don't like this, I'm triggered by this, what happens is we shut down, we go into our amygdala, the back of our brain, we get cortisol and adrenaline happening because we've stepped into separation consciousness. Separation consciousness means that I'm no longer self-partnered with my heart, my inner being and source. I'm actually cut off from the good stuff, which is inspiration, opportunity, miracle, and synchronicity to be able to up-level and meet these challenges and get through them like a boss. And now I'm getting bashed by the stream into the rocks. And it's totally understandable. And I've done it in the last few weeks. Absolutely, I've been in a state of overwhelm and I've been judging it. And the old program that came up for me is I feel unsupported, I'm doing all the work, and other people are not supporting me and what needs to be done in relation to the new projects that we're doing at Cape Tribulation, as well as what I'm doing for MTE and other things. And it's kind of that MARTA program that we can do when we have been narcissistically abused. We're the type of people that do the heavy lifting, we get the work done. We've been proving ourselves with our worth because of how capable we are and how much we support people and what we do, etc., etc. And then we can get really bent out of shape when we don't feel supported back. And I've done a lot of work on this, and I've come a long way with this. And I've absolutely got my support from Source and the ability to lay boundaries and speak up and do other things. But you know, I got blindsided, which was good. And as soon as I was able to stop and bless and accept it, and how we do this is we say, whatever's triggered and what's going on at the moment, this is happening for me and not to me. Because even when you just say that, I want you to just imagine whatever is overwhelming you and it's blindsiding you at the moment and you're feeling really stuck and in resistance to it. I want you to just breathe, open your body, think about it and say, I bless and accept this. It's happening for me and not to me. Now your ego, you may feel some ego resistance. Your ego doesn't like that. Now let's get very, very clear. Ego, the acronym edging God out. Ego is the internal narcissist. Your ego is your mind. It's your amygdala. It's your survival programs. It's your defenses. It is not the divine infinite mind. And people get very confused. Well, I need my drive. I need my intelligence. I promise you, when you let go of the ego and dissolve it out and bring in more light, you'll become more intelligent, more wise, more capable, more expanded, more knowing, more access to the entire field than you could ever imagine. There is no upside to hanging onto your ego, and I will stand by that and I will debate that with anybody. You're not losing anything. You're losing your false self. The ego is a pain body. It wants to feed off your pain, your confusion, your trauma, and your drama. And that's what's so beautiful about quantum freedom healing is it picks up that part of us and releases it and replaces it with true source, the divine mind, which is far more superior and so much more bigger and capable and connected to the entire field. The ego is just connected to the ego. Okay? So my ego was activated, and when our ego is activated, it means we've got a wound. And we can either turn inwards with initially to say, I bless and accept this is happening for me and not to me. Immediately that puts us in a quantum understanding that if there's a trigger going on inside of me, it means that in the simulation that is my life, somebody is giving me the evidence of an unhealed part of myself. Now, this doesn't mean that you're letting people off the hook and you're doing all la new age garbage, right? Just love and light. It's got nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that at all. There are bad people and there are this and that people, and of course there is, right? People that don't take responsibility or whatever else. But if we show up in our trauma with something that's not right in our life, well, then what we're doing is we're cooperating with the program and the trauma, and we show up in a way that makes the overwhelm so much worse. And the burnout. Because we show up, and this is what we can do. We can show up all passive aggressive and whiny, which triggers other people. And then they feel like they're attacked, and then they attack you back. And then you feel more unsupported. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. So what happened for me was an understanding of there's more to heal, and this is awesome because in this ascension, and I've talked about it a lot, I'm coming right out with this stuff, 3D to 5D. 3D is our egoic mind, our painful, fearful, controlling, defensive self, which is cut off from source consciousness and the divine mind and the higher level of nourishing and flourishing of the oneness of the field of synchronicity, miracle, inspiration, and opportunity. We're cut off from our dream life. That's 3D living. And 3D living is getting worse. And worse and worse and worse. And we're really realizing in 3D living that if we want to be in that place, it's like trying to walk around the block 50 times to cross the road. It's not working. We are getting the response back from life in lightning fast time to show us that whoever we're being is what we're getting. And if we're being 3D, we're getting 3D, which is very painful. Because we are in an ascension period. And I've talked about it a lot. So what is 5D consciousness? 5D consciousness is where we're not on the battlefield with lower consciousness parts of ourselves and also narcissists. Narcissists are 3D. They do not take personal responsibility for their lives. They do not say, I'm the generative source of my own experience, and therefore if I want to change my life, I need to change myself. A narcissist will not do that. That is why they are a narcissist. Total unconsciousness. It's everybody and everything else's fault. It's got nothing to do with me, is the narcissist catch cry. Okay, now victimized people can do that too. And there are people who are not what we would call narcissistic. People who are good people who now are getting intensely triggered in this increased light on the planet from solar flares. We're in the photon belt. We've got mega galactic cycles and minor galactic cycles that are all coming together into a one collapsing of time lines into one. Do some research on this, it'll blow your mind. We are in a pivotal time in human history where we are in a change of eras. We're coming out of the age of Pisces, we're going into the age of Aquarius. We're coming out of ego and might is right and separation consciousness into oneness and unity consciousness and co-creative consciousness, which is I am a fractal of source. Whoever I'm being, I am creating more of that with the entire field and the oneness. And we always are, we just don't realize until we wake up what we're actually creating. But now, whether you're in 3D or 5D, you're going to see the results lightning fast. So 3D, let's go into it. This is the overwhelm, and this is the burnout, and this is the judging of our life, saying what is triggered up in me is so intense that I'm feeling helpless, I'm feeling powerless, and you may have people in your face that are either narcissistic, who are popping at the moment, because the more light that gets shone into a dark room, the more the mess comes to the forefront. And that's what's happening with narcissists. They've got nowhere to hide anymore. They are outing themselves everywhere. It's coming up to be seen. So you will have had, and also too, unconscious people who are not necessarily malicious or nasty, who have not attended to their inner stuff, who are feeling intensely victimized, and they're not turning within, and they're not shedding that dense energy, they're not releasing it, they're trying to hang on to it, the light's hitting it harder, it's rattling, it's shaking, they're not letting go, they're exploding, they're projecting, they're attacking. Often the people who are trying to grant them light. And now for those of us who are in overwhelm and burnout, it is time to back off. We have to let go. And this is what I've really realized in the last, few days. And I don't have narcissistic people in my mix. I have my stuff coming up and some frustrations and things that have happened outside of everybody's control, actually, and not bad people that actually brought up for me, I'm unsupported and I'm doing all the heavy lifting. Okay? It was a lovely little story going on in my egoic mind, and I'm having all the experiences of it, the overwhelm and the burnout and the breakdown. And our minds are very good at making up stories to collaborate with our unhealed stuff where it's everybody else's fault. So what did I do? First step with overwhelm and burnout, and I know this stuff, is to, excuse me if I'm going to sneeze, this is this cold from doing too much to myself. Okay, so it's opening and breathing and saying, I bless and accept this feeling. This is happening for me and not to me. What do I still need to heal? And then what I was able to do was to connect with myself and do internal healing on it. Let go with the feeling of overwhelm and burnout. And that is all you have to do with quantum freedom healing. You don't have to work out who's doing it to you, where it came from. Is this to do when I was 2 years of age, or my past lives, or is this a pattern? Right here, when your body is activated in a trigger and feelings, Everything is encapsulated in that. All you have to do is, I'm targeting the trauma in my body with these feelings of overwhelm and burnout. Load them up with module 1 of NARP, or the Source Healing and Resolution. Do the process to let them go, bring in the light to replace it. And with that comes relief, space. You're out of your amygdala, you're back in your body, you're back connected with the somatic body, self-partnered, which means your inner being calms down immediately because you're no longer missing in action, because you're gone and your ego's in its place, bashing it up. Okay, so you get a calm, you get some space, and then you get a higher wisdom and some answers, which was really beautiful, and an up-leveling out of that program into solution and inspiration. And then what happened, which is so not surprising because 5D evidence is so crystal clear and fast now, what happened was support came, answers came, healthy delegation came. And you know, I was able to sit down with my partner and have a really good talk to him about certain things, and he stepped in to fully support me, whereas before he wasn't listening. So we're always getting more of who we're being. I adjusted my being back to a source oneness, radical personal responsibility of, this is my trauma, this is my trigger, this is my dense energy. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to bring in the light. I get a reset. I get calm. Now, this is the thing people need to understand, because I know some of you, and I used to do it too, you're like, well, I need the results to get the calm. That's not how quantum reality works. You're going for the calm. And when you get the calm and some space, then the results come into being. But if you're saying, well, I need results and then I can have my calm, you're trying to put a horse in front of a cart and it rolls back on you, the horse, and squashes you. You'll never get it. So I was thrilled when I did a healing and I got some calm and space, because I know that that's the place where it falls into place. And the hugest irony of taking your power back in that way, out of overwhelm and burnout, was now I feel nourished by the light. I feel calm. I'm actually out of overwhelm and burnout no matter what anybody else does or doesn't do. And I've got my nose out of it. I'll look after what I need to look after for me, instead of trying to look after everybody else, and they either will or they won't. And if they don't, they'll learn the hard way. That's fine. But then this beautiful collaboration started to come into being. Gosh, I hope this makes sense, because it's everything. It's really everything. And I really want you to know that this 3D to 5D conversation I'm having about is about narcissism. It is absolutely the truth about narcissism, is 3D egoic defense mechanisms and unconsciousness. So for all of us thriving and ascending, not only do we get to get out of our own programs, we get to be able to say goodbye to the people who used to come in and show them to us and hurt us with our unhealed stuff, which is what narcissists do. So anyway, I'm so excited because on the 23rd, just before Christmas, I'm doing a New Year Ascension event. Excuse me, it's very, very hot here in the tropics. And I've shut the door to get some space and quiet in here. But I'm doing an event which is all about us letting go of that 3D lower vibrational self, which is in fear and pain and trauma and old programs, to let it go, load it up, let it go, and bring in the light, which is the higher consciousness, which is the 5D self, which is that ascension into the field in a way that is supported by the divine mind, which wants what you want for you, which wants your best and highest potential of well-being, health, success, prosperity, and expansion. So it's going to be beyond exciting. It's a global event. The power that happens when we get together for quantum freedom healing in global events is nuts. It's so awesome. So that's happening on the 23rd. Now, if you haven't received your special invitation code to that yet, the way to get that is have a look at the holiday specials with the link that I'm putting with this video. We have, to support you and as our gift to you, these holidays, my Quantum Freedom Healing programs, which are all about everything I've been describing today. Every shift you do in my programs is taking you from 3D to 5D. Out of your dense pain body into your light body and your higher, free, authentic self without fear and pain and battle and struggles. That's why the healing in this community has been so successful for people moving out of narcissistic abuse, those dark energetic dungeons, into their higher functioning self. That's why, humbly, I really do believe my program is probably the most successful for unprecedented recoveries and thriver recoveries. So have a look at that specials page, because any of those offers that you take up, after doing that, if you send an email to support@melanietoniaevans.com, ask for your special invitation code to the 5D New Year Ascension event, and my wonderful team, somebody will send you the code to come into that event. It's the only way you can get it at this stage. Okay? So I hope today's made sense. I hope you've stayed with me in a higher vibrational talk. I hope you've realized things are cracking and breaking at the moment. Everybody's wounds are coming up. Everybody's feeling overwhelmed. Everybody is feeling this. I don't know anybody I'm talking to who's not at some level. It's a really global as well as singular event that's going on at the moment. So I hope that this has helped give you some guidance, some hope, and some knowing that this overwhelm and burnout can be a springboard for you for absolute ascension. All right. Lots of love, everybody. And until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because if you want a great life, there actually is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.